Hi, welcome to She Spice. Denject as rocky as possible. Ruff has picked a side since the start of this entire Kendrick Drake meet, and it's certainly not Drake. And yes, Kendrick said he abhors all that about Drake. Yet, child, assuming there's one individual who detests Drake more than Kendrick, it's Ruff Damnation. I would despise Drake as well, in the event that he continued to sing After My Child Mother a very long time after their causal excursion finished. And the most terrible part is that Ruff has all the soil on Drake purportedly damaged Rihanna once upon a time, which is the reason Rihanna had clarified that she would rather not have at least something to do with him. But instead of really trying to understand and pick up and move on, Drake chose to sneak diss Ruff and rear and afterward totally warrantedly hauled them into his problem with Kendrick. Drake went too far with that one, without a doubt, on the grounds that pronto Ruff promptly got in the corner to protect his lady and cautioned Drake to ease off or get a blur. Honey, it's going to get all shades of messy, so we should get into it. Cooperation and the set of experiences that you all I feel that makes the records better. However, on the grounds that there's a certifiable thing there, dislike driving some story on individuals, I mean, it's, a ton of the music that we make, and the energy that we bring is certified. I mean, we have a great deal of veritable energy between us, not really good or bad. We as a whole realize Drake was an exceptionally touchy man, yet he truly showed his behind when he jumped on certain tracks in his 2023 collection for the K9s where he dissed Rihanna on the grounds that she put him minimal in a horrible mood. For instance, in one of the tunes from the collection named Feeling of Dread, toward levels Drake rapped, "Why they make it sound like I'm actually hung up on you, that would never be cool. Can't run me, preferred him over me. I'm hostile to, I'm against definitely. And the closeness was normal with you." Drake presumably thought he was being shrewd here, yet the entire enemy of wit makes it clear he was discussing Rihanna. As you all realize, her last collection is called Enemy of, and Drake was attempting to deny, as yet caring deeply about Riri while saying she was unable to try and be with him at any rate since she wears the jeans in her relationship with Ruff. Then he continues to call her mid, which is truly insane. It resembles that thing cheesy folks do when they understand the lady of their fantasies continued on towards somebody better than them. So presently, they need to cause it to appear as though they weren't down awful. However, it gets more insane on the grounds that in that equivalent stanza Drake says also, "I had way preferable honeybees over you to be legitimate. No doubt that man is still with you. He can't leave you all. Take some time off. I bet it's Antigua." Oh, you simply realized Drake had destroyed streaming his face when he recorded that part and sneaking Antigua in there on the grounds that Rihanna is from Barbados, which is important for the Caribbeans. He actually didn't stop there. Drake even went similar to Nam dropping Inject Rocky as possible Ruff in another late night, where he said, "I ain't pretty Flacco, be this is get truly rough." One of Ruff's monikers is Pretty Flacco right now. Clearly Drake truly has it out for Rihanna and Inject for Rocky as possible. Ruff, in light of the fact that devoting 3 melodies from your collection to despise on them is insane business, young lady. That man needs to take a few to get back some composure. I mean, is Drake truly saying all that when clearly he's actually persuaded Rihanna was the best excursion he at any point had acceptable for the people who don't have the tea? We should rewind to 2005 when Drake and Rihanna initially met in Toronto. Rihanna was shooting the music video for her hit track Ponder Replay at an eatery in Toronto when she got acquainted with Drake, yet they didn't actually draw near around then. Quick forward to 2009 and Rihanna was simply escaping an extremely untidy relationship with Chris Brown around May. That year, she and Drake were spotted at Fortunate Strike Bowling Alley in New York City, and witnesses guaranteed they were making out the entire night. It was somewhat fascinating at the time in light of the fact that many individuals felt like this was only a bounce-back hurl for Rihanna. I mean, she was still a lot of in adoration with Chiz Brown. As of now, furthermore, she would later portray him as her most memorable love. Sometime thereafter, Rihanna explained that she and Drake were just companions, yet obviously that opinion was, as it were, uneven on the grounds that Drake had gone totally gaga for Rihanna. He discussed that first date in a 20,110 tune called Firecrackers, where he said, "I could see it wasn't love. I simply figured you would F with me, who might have anticipated Fortunate Strike. Would have you stayed with me starting here?" Drake just couldn't keep Rihanna's name out of his mouth. He clearly felt hurt that Rihanna wasn't treating him in a serious way as he was taking her, and he said exactly that in his meeting with the New York Times. "I was on." Drake said the tune he composed for her never got delivered. "You understand what she was doing to me. She was doing precisely the same thing I've done to such countless ladies all through my life, which is show them quality time, then at that point vanish. I resembled. Wow, this feels awful." Rihanna truly had this man in a stranglehold. Here he goes spouting about her in one more meeting. After all that, it seemed as though Rihanna gave Drake an opportunity again. When they recorded the video for What's My Name, the cooperation got individuals hypothesizing about whether Drake and Rihanna were back together, and things got warmed after they played out the tune together at the 2011 Grammys, and later at the NBA Top Pick Game halftime show. Yet, after the exhibitions, Rihanna dropped him like a hot potato, leaving him feeling hurt once more. In a meeting with Elle magazine, he conceded he was Rihanna's bounce-back fellow, and that she hurt him at the time. It hurt, however, she didn't intend to. "I won't ever place that on her. I was harmed in light of the fact that I began to gradually acknowledge what it was. I surmise I thought it was more that was the main young lady with any notoriety that paid me any brain. You go through days learning about this individual in the magazines out of nowhere. You have this main tune, and you're at some birthday celebration, and she is right there, and you're simply some gullible youngster from Toronto remaining in some whack lodging who got welcomed to this party spontaneously. That is exactly the way in which it happened, young lady, not Drake conceding he used to fixate on Rihanna well before they even met. You couldn't in fact fault him, since half of you all would have a similar response on the off chance that your VIP crush out of nowhere consented to go on a date with you, despite the fact that Rihanna had never at any point conceded to having a throw with Drake. As of now, Drake was still all up in his sentiments about her. It was terrible to such an extent that Drake wound up getting in a battle with Chris Brown over Rihanna at a club in New York City. As per TMZ, sources affirmed that Chris Brown and Drake were hanging out in the celebrity segment when Drake began pointing and hollering at Chris, hollered back, and in what would seem like no time, somebody tossed a container, and everything went off the deep end. The episode brought about numerous individuals from the two groups requiring surgeon help, and indeed, even Chris Brown got harmed in the process anyway. Both Drake and Chris had left the club when police showed up. The two of them denied having a say in the occurrence, yet witnesses had a completely unique story to tell. Additionally, Drake later tended to his problem with Chris Brown and fundamentally affirmed that they battled about Rihanna. I feel like, man, like only very much like for the media, and like for any news source that stands by listening to this interview, like don't get some information about that man when I come up there. You understand what I mean, like, and let that man be. You realize, quit asking on his frailties, man, causes you realize his weaknesses are the way that I improve music than him, that I'm more popping than him, and that at one point in life you understand what I'm talking about. The lady that he cherishes fell into it. Oh, my lap. I did what a genuine would do and approached her with deference. So she's not up there talking down on me. You understand what I'm talking about. And every one of those things consolidated, make a person that surfaces to your radio broadcast, and it's about to, do imbecilic. However, it's like it ought not be tied in with destroying that man. It ought not be tied in with needing to see me and him tear each other down like we have an issue, and it's either going haul out, or perhaps in 10 years we'll giggle about it over drinks. However, recently let us settle that, cuz it's not me and Kendrick. It's not me and H in like manner. It's not even you in like right manner. You won't receive anything, not you're out there, not here, there, not mariner. Tan, what I'm talking about, no one needs to hear me rap against him. You realize, like I truly like, that is not, you're not in any event going to receive anything in return. So I very much like, I simply encourage individuals, man, to just, and when I say individuals, I mean like media, like simply let that be, man. Leave this interview like, don't ask that man when I come up there, you know what I mean, like, and let that man be. You realize, quit asking on his frailties, man, cuz you realize his uncertainties are the way that I improve music than him, that I'm more popping than him, and that at one point in life you understand what I'm talking about. The lady that he cherishes fell into my lap. I did with a genuine D and approached her with deference. so she doesn't. She's not up there talking down on me, you understand. What I'm talking about and everything joined you know, make a person that surfaces to your radio broadcast and is about to. Do idiotic yet. It's like it ought not be tied in with destroying that man. It ought not be tied in with needing to see me and him tear each other down like we have. An issue, and it's either going to haul out, or perhaps in 10 years, we'll snicker about it over drinks. Yet let us tackle that because it's not me and Kendrick. It's not me and HI. You're not in like manner. It's not even you in like manner. You're not going. Subscribe She Spice for more videos.